We love water, water's life. But when it disrupts our everyday technology, water becomes a killer.
When the flood comes, there are always malaria around, and water for drinking is always dirty. So baby like Britain always feel sick. We always go and live somewhere else because here always is flooded.
With no water, there's no life. With no clean water, again, there's no life because we will be losing a lot of people.
The freedom from disease is integrally tied with water. And if you have good water, you have freedom from disease in a disaster setting.
During the floods that has been prone to this area, we've experienced many cases of cholera and other waterborne diseases. And this has been due to taking of dirty water.
Fluid osmosis is simple. You start with a semi-permeable membrane. We've been fortunate to have a very good relationship with Eastman Chemical over the years. We use a cellulose material, it's called a cellulose triacetate. The beauty of this membrane is twofold. One, it's hydrophilic, and that simply means it loves water. It absorbs water. The second thing that's wonderful about this membrane is that it has great rejection properties. So as a membrane allows water to pass through, all the other contaminants in the water, the viruses, the bacteria, the parasites, those all get blocked. They can't make it through this membrane.
The HydroPack works like plants work. All you have to do is put it in water and it does all the rest of the work for you. There's no power needed.
It has the capacity to draw water into what we call a draw solution that makes it a great hydration drink.
The HydroPack has the sugars that help in the forward osmosis. This is a way in which you ensure that people take water, which is very good for their health, and also in emergency situations they get the much needed energy that could keep them going so that they can be able to cope up with all other threats that come with emergency situations.
Final mile is the most difficult part of a disaster scenario. The final mile from your logistics head to get to where things are needed is extremely difficult. And if you're hauling water, you're being inefficient, costing more money than you should. A HydroPack literally is 1/20th of the weight and cube of moving water, becomes the most cost-efficient, easiest to use system to include that final mile.
People are planting their crops, they're working, everything's going well, the flood comes in and it resets everything that they've done. A solution like this will take that reset, almost kind of put a stop to it, stop the introduction of cholera, malaria, other diseases, that allows them to then get back into the process of improving that base level so they can move up to the next.
It brings us right back to, if we can provide good water, good food, and good sanitation, then we can eliminate that disease burden in the population. And if we do that, we can stop by preventing the loss of life that's associated with resetting the clock.
The HydroPack was developed by a group of engineers at HTI, and that group determined that what they had developed for the military, what they had developed even for NASA, was great, but it was a little on the expensive side. So we focused on being able to make as inexpensive product as possible, and that's where we came up with the HydroPack.
My dream for the HydroPack is that it be a global tool for early intervention and disaster relief. There is no better tool to use in the early phase of a disaster. It works in any water. It's guaranteed purity, very high acceptance rates, very easy to transport. When water is airlifted, if you airlift HydroPacks instead, the savings in transportation will pay for the product.
You want to provide something that really works. And the only way to get an assessment if there's a real benefit is to let people use it in the setting that they live in, and then to ask them how it worked for you. What do you like, what do you don't like? And to be able to get their feedback is very valuable to us. We want them to believe that they had input in this, that it was made to meet their needs. And it's something that's just more than a technology went into, but something that a heart went into.